Yeah, that's what I always try to do, thank the fans. I appreciate them coming out, and thought we had great weather today, a little windy, but considering the weather we practiced in, I thought the weather conditions were awesome. I thought our players handled it the right way. I wanted to handle it like a game, very game-like situations. You know, the next time we put on those uniforms, it'll be for real, and we'll be playing in Atlanta against a really good opponent. So we want to find out where we are as a team and get a lot of guys reps. You know, we're kind of where we got guys that have got a lot of work and a lot of reps, you know, fifth year, fourth year guys, and then we've got about 40 guys that are in their first year. So the discrepancy between old and young is really great. I thought the defense played much better today than they did in previous scrimmages in terms of like energy, enthusiasm, running to the ball. We rushed the passer better today. Offense probably didn't have as good a day as maybe they've had in the two scrimmages, but some of that was dictated by the terms of which we scrimmaged with, which was passing and loose plays, and they did a nice job handling that in the second half. But overall, I don't evaluate things on today. I know you guys will ask questions and talk about today. For me, it was about the entire spring, 15 practices. Very pleased with our health coming out of it. So with that, I'll open it up.
Yeah, Coach, when we talked to you after the first scrimmage, I think you mentioned the operation being a little bit sloppy. How'd you feel like the operation was just from the sideline standpoint today?
It was better second scrimmage than the first scrimmage, and then it was better today than the first two scrimmages. We had, one delay game, which wasn't really the offense's fault. We had an injured player on the field, so we slowed down, and the officials kept it going. But operation-wise, I was very pleased. We got to use the new headset model. Both quarterbacks had headsets in, and they could talk to the coordinators, up to 15 seconds. We had one on defense, so we're able to use 3 of those, get comfortable with it. Operation-wise, we put so much stress on our practice operation that the game is traditionally easy.
Saw Mike Hell move around just a little bit in the different spots. Just what have you seen from him over the course of this spring, and what he was able to accomplish?
First and foremost, he's been, what's the right word, present. He's been able to practice. He is not. He had spring practice last year, he missed some practices. He had fall camp last year, he missed some practices. And I explained to him, if you want to have a really good year, you want to have a really good camp. He's kind of bought into that. Like, practicing good makes you better. You can't, it's not his fault he's been injured, but you can't play good if you don't practice. So I thought that he had a really good spring from a standpoint of leadership, toughness, and he didn't get a ton of reps. I mean, the guy's been a 2-year starter, but it'll be a chance to get Ty more reps when we come back in the fall. Continue to increase Jonah Jai, and then Justin Green. So we got some defensive ends that can spell him, but he was a factor today.
Colby Young with the big touchdown catch today, but how have you seen him grow and sort of integrate himself within this team over the course of spring practice?
Well, first and foremost, I think all across the board, our wideouts may be our best leadership group. O-line maybe, and then receiver. Like, they have some really good core leaders. Well, he's integrated himself into that group really well. He's not the alpha leader. He's a quiet kid, but what impresses me about him is he's showing up on special teams. I'm like, when you show up on special teams and you show a commitment to blocking and holding people up, he's been a really good special teams player, and we sold him that, hey, if you came here, you had to buy into those values. It's made him tougher, more physical. He's a big body. It's a tough matchup for all teams, and I'm pleased with where he is. But he still has work to do in terms of learning. I look at him like Rah-Rah last year. This time last year, Rah-Rah didn't understand the offense. He couldn't line up and execute all the time. Rah-Rah's a lot further along. We didn't have to give him as many reps. We didn't have to give Aaron as many reps. But Colby did a nice job.
What do you think about Etienne? I mean, you guys have had some really effective backs. Is he like a Swift or a Cook, or what would you say about his play?
He's a good back. He's explosive. He's quick in and out of the hole. He's different than what we've had. I think Swift analogy's good. Cook's analogy's good. He's really taken a lot of personal pride in working on his protection, and he had a nice pickup today. He's learning the offense. I mean, look, he's been a good SEC player for 2 years. It's not like he's a freshman. He's a really good player. He's a really good kid, and I've been proud of the way he's handled everything since his deal.
We saw Roger Robinson taking a lot of reps, kind of the opposite type of player of Trevor Etienne. What did you see from him, and how has his growth kind of continued from his freshman year?
He keeps getting better. He's got toughness. I enjoy coaching Ron. He takes coaching well. A big physical guy that you want to get more out of him, and he's giving us what he's got. He's got to continue to work on his pass protection. He's become a better route runner. I'm pleased with where Rod is, and he needs to be even better for us next year.
Coach, what progress did Carson continue to make this spring?
Yeah, Carson had a great spring to me. He's had a quiet leadership. He's got a lot of confidence. When things aren't going well, kids and players and O-line turn to him. He had really good moxie out on the field. He never, pressed or got frustrated even today. He drove the team down and made some really elite throws there at the end to give us a chance to tie the ball game. But taking today out of it, I don't even go off today. He's had a good spring. He knows how to navigate a pocket. He knows where to go with the ball. There's nothing he hadn't seen on defense. So I'm happy with where he is. I want him to continue to grow as a leader.
Did your heart skip a beat at all when he fell down when Tate knocked him over?
Yeah, it did. It worried me there. He rolled up a little bit, but he's a durable kid. He's an athlete, good baseball player, and he got rolled up on something there, and it was a little scary.
Kirby, what did the DBs show you this spring with what y'all lose there?
That we got a long way to go. We lost 3 really good football players there, and we're thin. David Daniel wasn't able to go today, and I'm trying to think who else we had out. DB Malachi was out. Justin Rhett was out. DeMello was dealing with a little bit of a hamstring coming off of that. So, we got better in the secondary, but we're not where we need to be in terms of being able to make plays on the ball downfield and affect the quarterback.
To build off of that, Ja'Cory Thomas entering year 3, what skill set does he bring, and what do you expect from him the rest of the spring and summer?
He's a tough guy, man. He's smart, plays really hard. He showed up last year on special teams, and I always say if they can do the things we ask them to do on special teams, then they'll be good defensive players. He got put in a pickle because he was really competing at star, and he has a chance to play for us and start at star. Well, we had to work him at safety with the injuries, so he played 50-50 safety star, but he had to play more safety today.
CJ Allen with an interception, Jalen Walker to pass. No small money in the spring. What did you make of that group as they sort of progressed throughout the 15 practices?
Growth. I really thought that Raylan and CJ would be further along because of how much they played, and I don't think you give them enough credit for. They really shouldn't have been out there last year, and they had to go play. And they didn't play bad, but they didn't play great. Well, I expected the spring to be like this huge jump. They're still freshmen. And CJ and Raylan got better. They're going to be really good leaders for us. I think the fact Smile was out was good for them. And then Jalen missed a lot of time this spring with an ankle injury, and today was his first day back. And it doesn't say enough about our team. The kids are trying to get out of spring games all around the country, and this guy was mad that we were thinking about not playing him. He wanted to play. He wanted to go out there and compete and get better, and really appreciate Jalen's leadership and the way he handles things.
Kirby, what do you think about this wide receiver group? Is it deeper than you've had in many years?
I don't know. I know the first level, let's call it the first 4 guys, 5 guys deep. It's very experienced, very experienced. And then after that, it's like, I'm still trying to figure out what we got. There's young players that are talented. Sokovia and Nitro are going to be good players. The portal guys are still coming along, Mike Jackson in London, and then Colby is factored in and made some plays. Colby's made plays like he made like that all spring, and then when you throw the Rah Dillon, Arian, and Dom out there, it gives you what they are is the bullies. They bully on special teams. They lead. They show toughness, and that's usually your defensive back group. And for us right now, it's our wideouts.
Coach, Lawson Lucky was on the field pretty much every play for the red team today. What has he kind of shown to show himself as a every down contributor at the tight end position?
He's had a great spring. We gave him a lot of reps, a lot of chance to grow with Pierce being out. He's shown great toughness, great maturity, durability. That's what Oscar Delpa's been. Oscar Delpa's the one guy, when Darnell was out, Oscar took all the reps. When Brock was out, Oscar took all the reps. So Oscar's taken a lot of football reps and gotten better for us. Will Lawson stepped up and took on a larger role of that. And the Riddell kid and Heinrich, they both came a long way from the start of spring. They got a long way to go, but they came a long way. And Jaden missed half the spring probably with a hamstring, so it was good to have those 2 guys get better.
Looked like Christian Miller might have got banged up.
He went back in, I think. I thought I saw him go back in. he had a shoulder, there, and then I heard him say he jumped back in.
Ryan shows up with the crutch or the cane or whatever you wanna call it, just what is that? Is that an addition to the knee injury you mentioned a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, the knee, it's a stress, it's a small stress fracture, so it's not a break or a significant injury, it's a shutdown injury and let it rest. And so we listened to what the doctor said and did that, but it's not a long-term problem, but it did affect us in terms of reps. It probably gave Gunner more growth than ever because he took 2s, 3s. I mean, Gunner just took a ton of reps.
Kirby, I know that this is about the spring game, but this is kind of a new world we're in, as you've noted before. I don't think you're gonna hold a portal press conference in the next week or two. What is kind of the overview? I know you guys recruit to need. I know Gunner mentioned you usually feel comfortable with the fourth quarterback.
Gunner mentioned usually feel comfortable what?
4 scholarship quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah, I always want to have, yeah, our goal is to have 4 and a really good walk-on. That's the goal. We think we've got a preferred walk-on kid that's a really good player that's coming in and excited about him. We thought he was a really good player in our state. But, you know, we'll see what happens. I can't predict the portal. I wouldn't even try to. You know, I'm worried about our guys and the retention of our players.
Jalen mentioned that he thinks the secondary was kind of had a chip on their shoulder with all the guys that have left. Just how have you seen that group attack the opportunities they've had this spring, replacing those guys and also with Malachi being out too?
Well, I don't know if I've seen them attack it. I mean, I want to see them attack the ball better. We gave up a lot of plays in the spring and what I call 50-50 balls. We didn't get a lot of them out. What you saw, the microcosm of today, was a really good quarterback throwing really good touch passes and the throw to Dom. I mean, I've seen that 20 times this spring. And it's like, we were right there, we just couldn't quite get it out. And when you have a good thrower and a catcher with people that protect, it's dangerous. So I want to see more out of the secondary. Like, I want to see, you know, I mean, yeah, Malachi's out, but that's okay. There's other guys out there that have scholarships that can make plays too.
What'd you see out of Gabe Harris this spring?
Man.
He does a bunch of different things.
I
for you
thought he
guys.
had a good day today. I mean, I can't say his whole spring was like that, but he was disruptive today. He's twitchy, he's hard to block. I love the way he plays, but he sometimes plays out of control, which can be a good thing. And it was good today on some plays, but it also, first play of the game, he screwed up with the wrong way, didn't line up right. So sometimes you don't know what you're getting with Gabe, but you do get great effort and you do get great toughness, and I love that.
Troy Bowles, you were saying he was having a really great spring. What did he do today? It feels like he was all over the
When
field.
did I say Troy Bowles was having a really great spring?
And then what can you say of like his development and stuff like that, and how he's kind of progressed, especially making an athletic interception in the first half?
Was that Troy's?
Troy Bowles.
He was credited with.
He was
I
credited
don't know
with
if
an
he came
interception. I'm not sure if he actually had it.
I know Sonny Allen made that play.
Allen had 1 interception.
Oh, they might have gave Troy that with
The
the
fourth
first
down
half, I
pass
don't
to-
think.
yeah.
And maybe they did. I thought that ball bounced, but
Yeah.
no. Troy's done a good job. I mean, Troy's got to get better. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. He's got to get better. He's in the same class with those other 2 guys. They got an extra spring on him. He needs to be, playing catch up. He is a bright kid. He's a really good special teamer. He works hard. I hold him to a higher standard being a coach's son. And my expectation is when you learn the defense and you understand it, you execute it at a high level. And he's got to do better. Now, he is an athlete and he can play in space, and that's what playing linebacker is now in football. So I'm not happy with where he is, but I can't really judge how he played today. I was thinking of CJ's interception.
Kirby, you've got a streak going. I know you don't pay too much attention to these things. I think you've won 20 games in a row when you've had more than a week to prepare. Obviously, there's an off season. Can you give us a kind of overall 10,000-foot view of what's next?
Lifting. I mean, we're gonna go Monday. We get after it. We're gonna work out. We're gonna target some guys' weights. We're gonna drive some weights down. We're gonna lift. We got to get our bottom half of our roster to the top half, and you're not gonna get there watching spring game tape. I mean, you got to go get to work, and we're gonna work really hard on those guys. We're gonna keep meeting and talking to our players. I told them the job's not done. We're not where we need to be. We just don't get to practice anymore. We get to do other things. So we'll get back to work Monday.
Carson said that he hoped the final result meant everybody gets steak and lobster. How do you handle this tradition?
Yeah, I told them it's beanie weenies for a tie. It's like this and your sister. And the guys that played both sides of we had a couple guys change over teams that I was gonna let them eat steak for changing teams and being selfless. They didn't approve.
Did you make the call not to go for the win though? I mean, is that? part of
Well,
it?
I didn't wanna put a 2-point play on tape, which we did that last year. Either last year or the year before, we did it, and I was like, we won't keep those things in our pocket. We don't need to show off those, and figured the kickers needed to work.
Xavier McLeod had a sack today, just what have you seen since he's joined the team?
You know, he's flashed. I wish he would play with more consistency, meaning like he did today all the time. He had, you know, some good plays and some bad plays, and I look at it, he's really still a freshman. He's worked hard. He's going against a really good offensive line, and he's taken on some ferocious double teams, and he's really a good athlete. And if we continue to grow him and getting stronger and getting tougher, he's going to have a chance to help us.
Regarding what you said about the portal and retention, like what is your level of concern about other teams coming for your guys?
I'm not, I mean, I don't really, what, can I control it?
To help you?
No, I can't, so I don't, if I concern myself with things I can't control, I won't live long. I mean, there's just too much out there, so it's really one of those things where it's like, do you wanna be here, or do you not? Because they know how we do things by now, they all know. They said that was the easiest practice we've had all spring, so they enjoyed it thoroughly, and, if guys wanna be somewhere else, I have no control over that.
Got time for 2 more questions?
Jake Pope had a couple pass breakups today. What have you seen from him out of this spring?
He did a good job. He carried over well what he knew from you know, his last school to here. He's got to continue to get better and understand our defense, make plays in space, and he needs to help us on special teams and be able to play faster and do some things. I did think he made some nice plays.
In general, you have a lot of young, explosive athletes on the red team defense. How do you think they did in terms of communicating, being on the same page, and executing their assignments today?
I'd feel better watching the tape than commenting on it. I did think they had fun out there, and it was a lot of mid-year defensive players out there just kind of running around. And you know, you see the athleticism of Justin Williams and Chris Jones and Chris Cole and Ellis and KJ. I mean, it's just like so many of them that just got here, and that's going to pay off for us, you know, when they have to play.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.